Hello guys, my name is Desmond. A very warm welcome to my lesson for today, where we will be looking at mathematics. So ladies and gentlemen, as always, please do allow me to say it is very much important that I say it is very, very much important because Leslie, them are Leslie's. What I'm about to say, it's massively massive.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Lindy,
Hello.
massively important, ladies and gentlemen, that I say a day without learning something new, it's a day wasted. No Vula.
Hello, sir. You are
Please,
cutting.
honorable member.
You are cutting.
Vula just indicated that I'm cutting while I was addressing the nation. But wait, am I still cutting? Maybe I'll need to try.
No,
It's
sir.
100% fine. Can someone confirm if it's 100% clear? Also from your side. Bosisi way.
Yes, sir.
It's 100% now, ne?
Yes, sir.
Hey, massively important, ladies and gentlemen, that I say a day without
No. You are
learning
still
something
pretending
new.
to cut.
Hey, this network. Ako, am I still breaking, honorable member? Zozozo. I'm not sure what's happening today. Okay. Nomvula.
Not break on my side, sir.
Nomvula, in case
Yes,
if
sir.
it's breaking from your side, what you can also do, you can leave and then quickly rejoin. So when you leave and rejoin, it's more like you are refreshing from your side, because sometimes it happens that the network is bad on your side and not on my side. So before you indicate that it's breaking, then quickly leave and rejoin. If it does the same, then you can make me aware. So without any waste of time, honorable members, let's try to see if we can quickly work out this question. So when I say this was a test, it was a test written by those who started with me when we started. If you joined recently, it means you haven't written this test, but participate just for the sake of doing corrections. So let's see. I'm about to read the given statement. From there, we will have a look at the questions. But most importantly, make sure that where you get confused, you make me aware, and I'll try to re-explain differently. So the statement reads as follows. It says in the diagram, referring to that diagram, F has got the coordinates of 2 and -2. Yes, that's correct. G has got the coordinates of 6 and where's G? Oh, there's G. It's got the coordinates of 5 and 2. And C, where is C? There's C. It is the coordinates of 6 and Y. Yes. And then they are saying these are the vertices of triangle F, G, and C. Okay. F, G. Where is F? Oh, there's F, G. Where's G? There's G. Is perpendicular to FC. Where's FC? There's F. There's, oh yes, because of that 90-degree angle there. So that means this is a right-angled triangle. Why? Because they're saying is that line and that line are perpendicular to each other. Someone might be wondering, what does it mean when you are having what we call a right-angled triangle? That means you can use sine, cos, tan, or theorem of Pythagoras. Every time when your teacher says a triangle is right-angled triangle, it means you can use these trigonometric ratios. You can also use that theorem of Pythagoras. It all depends on what you'll be looking at. Only if it is not a right-angled triangle, then you cannot use those things. Very, very much important, ladies and okay. So now let's continue. N, it's a point on FG. Where is N? Oh, there is N. It's a point on FG. There is F, there is G. Okay? Such that the inclination of NC is 104.04 degrees. Okay, so can you see, guys? Remember, we have what we call an angle of inclination. The moment you have an x-axis and you have a line, so the angle starting from this x-axis and in that direction of an anti-clockwise direction, whatever angle that you are having between this opening of the x-axis and your line is what we call angle of inclination. This is not angle of inclination. It's just an angle, but not angle of inclination. Always remember that. Most importantly, in case if you want full information on that, make sure to go to homepage and catch up. So Leslie the Leslies, this is what happens, honorable member. For those who discovered my lessons recently, in case if you need information on certain chapters, you can just request a recorded lesson that includes what you want to study. Then I'll forward it to you so that you can catch up and have a better understanding. So lastly, the angle of inclination of FG. Where is FG? Angle of inclination of F. Oh, G there. Yes, of FG is beta. Oh, that beta there. Okay, it makes sense. So this is the triangle that we are having. And then we have that x-axis there. So they're saying, since this is F and this is G, the angle of inclination of line FG, it is this one called beta. Okay, now it makes sense. So this is C, remember, and then it continues. No, there is N is there. Okay, so let's see. What are they saying? And they are saying in triangle FNC, angle N, it is the one which is theta. Where's theta? Oh, in that triangle F, N, and C, it is that angle which is called angle theta. So it's more like from F to N, and then we have C there, and then we have 90 degree there. This is that angle which is called angle theta. So be careful of how the information is being given and how questions will be asked. So we are now about to answer our very first question, which is question 4.1, which says calculate the gradient of FG. And this question is allocated 2 marks. One of those boring questions again. Why? Because we know the gradient of FG. We know the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here comes a question. Between f and g, which letter comes first? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. F comes first. So that means this is going to be x1, y1, x2, y2. Only when you are dealing with FG. So let's substitute. Y2, it is equals to 2. Y1, it's, can you see? It's a negative value inside the brackets. X2, it is 5 minus, what is X1? It is 2. So this gives you positive 4, and then this gives you 3. So it's more like finally the gradient of FG, it's actually equals to 4 over 3. And I'm suspecting that you will give yourself 1 mark for correct substitution, 1 mark for correct answer. That's how you score yourself 2 marks. That one, did it make sense to everyone? Did I also calculate it correctly there? Is that what you got, honorable members?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, 100%. So give yourself 2 marks for that question. I'm pretty much sure that it's everyone who understands that question. So now let's move on to question 4.2, which says calculate the value of y. This is what they want. Anyone who would like to suggest how do we then answer that question? Hmm? Remember, guys, in case you've got no idea, make sure to comment and say no idea. Then I will explain.
So we can use the gradient formula to determine y.
Sizoyenza kanjani?
Okay, in the statement they tell us that FG is perpendicular to FC.
Leslie, the Leslies. You were onto something, honorable member, but your mic is now muted. I'm not sure. Okay, I think Leslie it's experiencing some network issues. I'm not sure if there's anyone who'd like to step in and continue with that suggestion of the honorable member. I think she has given a very positive clue there. Lindiwe, should I explain it, honorable member?
Sir?
Should I explain it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what honorable member was saying, we have the gradient of that line and we can calculate the gradient of that line. Remember, for the fact that they told you about lines being perpendicular to each other, you should firstly remember that we have this type of a formula for lines which are perpendicular to each other. So if we have the gradient of that line, how about we calculate the gradient of this line? Then we will use the gradient formula to calculate this point, because we'll be having two things, being the gradient itself and a point. Then we can easily calculate the y value there. So what is the gradient of this line? Is it not 4/3? So that means we can calculate the gradient of this line, which is what, CF or FC. So how do we do that? You just divide by exactly that, so that this cancels that. Remember, whatever that you do on the left, you also do on the right. Meaning the gradient of CF, of line CF, is equals to a negative. If you punch all of this, it therefore gives you -3/4. So that means you now have the gradient of that line. But does it make sense to everyone before I go deep? What I've just done there. Maybe let me continue.
No, sir, you're
Someone was saying something. I couldn't get that one. Gradient of CF. Remember, in your case, don't erase that, because for me, I don't have enough space. Someone was saying something. Am I losing you there? I'm not sure who was speaking. So, Vuyiswa, This is what I was saying, honorable member. After you got that line, you now use the gradient formula, which says y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then you know this is the gradient, negative 3 over 4. It's the gradient for that line. Then what is y2? You can still use your negative 2 as y2 minus, this is the y that you're looking for, over x2. You can still say it's 2 minus 6. Can you see? What is this and that? It gives you what? 2 minus that, it gives you negative 4. And you see, then this is where you can just cross multiply, meaning this one, I think we can even take a shortcut and just say this multiplying that. It gives us something. Or maybe let's not take a shortcut so that everyone understands what's going on. So it's more like I'm saying this multiplying that. Just as it was going to work nicely if we took a shortcut. This multiplying that, you end up having 4 into minus 2 minus y. Then you say this by that, that by that. So it's more like you're having this by that, which is what? A negative 8. That by that, it's negative 4y. You have negative 12 there. What if we take this to the other side? It becomes positive 4y. And then we take this to the other side. So it's more like you are saying plus 12. So you have that 4y, which is equals to this thing. It's more like 12 minus 8. What is 12 minus 8? I think is 2, 4. It's 4. Then in the end, you
Sir,
divide
I
by
have a
4.
question.
Yebo.
Did you cross multiply to negative 3 over 4 equal to negative 2 minus y all over negative 4?
So what I did was to cross multiply. Maybe let's try to check what I've done. So it's more like I took this negative 4 and multiplied by 3. Is it not negative 12? Oh yes, it's negative 12. And then now seems like I left out that negative there from that 4 there. Yeah. I'm not sure if you guys notice what I'm talking about there. So it was actually supposed to be negative there. Maybe let me quickly redo it. I think we still have some time. So all of this, what I'm saying is I've done it incorrectly. I left out a negative there. I just noticed now. So let's quickly try to work it out. Maybe let's try with a shortcut. And if you don't understand the shortcut, I'll do it the long way. So what I was saying is this negative 4, let's multiply it with all of that. So it's more like you're saying negative 3 over 4. And then you multiply that by negative 4. On this side, you still have your negative 2 and that. So what I wanted to say was this negative cancels with that. This cancels with that. It's more like you're having 3, which is equals to negative 2 minus y. Then if you take this negative y to the other side, it becomes positive y. Then you have negative 2, which is that one. You take this to the other side, is negative 3. So it's more like finally your y value is actually negative 5. This is what I meant by the shortcut, which seems to be simplifying. Otherwise, if you don't do that one of cancelling, punch the whole of this. Just say negative 3 over 4, in brackets say 4. It's going to give you a positive 3. And then you just solve for y. I'm not sure if I'm losing you guys on that one. The manomvulas. Did I not lose you there?
No, you are not say.
Okay. Leslie, this is what you were saying, most honorable member. Luyanda, are you okay that side? Are you sure I'm not losing you on that one?
I understand, sir.
I'm pretty much sure this is what Leslie has been saying. Leslie, can you just confirm, honorable member, is this what you meant when you try to explain?
Yes, sir. Sorry, network.
Yes, I did notice. So this is where you give yourself some marks. This question, it was allocated 3 marks. Remember, guys, this question for your test, it was out of 12. And yesterday we did 2 questions. So as soon as we are done with this lesson, what you're going to do is to send me an inbox
Sir, I
indicating
have a
how much you
question.
got out of 12. There's a question
Sorry,
coming
sir, I
through.
have a
Yes.
question. Okay, so in this question, you had to calculate the gradient and what? Because I see more steps.
Wait. Nomvula, so you're asking what else did I calculate, or what is the question?
Say, beside the gradient.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Honorable member muted their mics, but let me quickly re-explain. This is what happens. You used this formula to calculate the gradient of this line. Why did you calculate the gradient of this line? It's because you wanted to use the gradient formula to calculate that y value, because the question wanted you to give that y value. That is why you had to start with the gradient of that line and use it to calculate the y value. And that's how you score yourself 3 marks for this question. And where you score your mark is for you to correctly get that gradient. And then from there, for you to equate this gradient that you equated together with all of that, you are going to get a mark there. And your last mark comes from your final answer. So for simplification, you are not given marks in grade 11. They assume you have scored enough marks in grade 10. So here you are mostly given marks for your first step of approach, correct substitution, and your final answer. Simplification is just an assumption that you fully know how to do that from grade 10. Does it make sense? Did I answer you? No, V. So this
Hey,
is
you
where you give
did.
yourself a mark. This is where you give yourself a mark. This is where you give yourself a mark. So we are now about to move on to the next question. Let's see if we can manage to work out this question. The question says, so Moleboge, I'm sure you are able to notice, honorable member, that this question, it can compete with the questions in grade 12, because you can easily undermine this type of a question, but it looks a bit tricky if you do not know, or if you do not understand the dynamics under this chapter of analytical geometry. But if you watched, or if you attended the introduction, that's when you'll fully understand. It's unfortunate if you don't attend lessons, you skip and you don't catch up, you will always be lost. You would be lucky to understand. That's if you give yourself enough time to study on your own, and try to learn these things by yourself. But if you attend today, next day off still, and you don't catch up, it might be a bit challenging for you to find it difficult to understand why did we even have to calculate the gradient of that line. And you might find it challenging again, not understanding how did Leslie know that we can use a formula m1 times m2 equals -1. So just make sure that you don't miss lessons. If you do, try to catch up so that you are not always lost. So let's see. 4.3 says calculate the size of angle theta. Angle theta. Anyone would like to suggest how can we possibly calculate angle theta? Remember, in case you've got no idea, mention to say no idea, then I will explain. Or are you guys still thinking that side? Silencing chord. Bosisiwe, are you still thinking, or would you like me to explain?
Please, sir, can you explain? Because I'm not quite clear.
Yeah, I think this one is a bit tricky. But this is what you can do. Remember, guys, what if we find this angle? Maybe let me quickly redraw that. Let me quickly redraw that so that you guys will have an idea of how to approach it. So this is angle theta that we're looking for. We know what this angle is, being 104.04 degrees, and we have angle beta there. So you need to always remember that the sum of interior triangular equals to 180 degrees. That's what you need to always remember. Where angles are involved, you might need that. But guess what? We will work it out together, and very nicely it will come live. So let's see. How can we find this angle if we want to find that angle? Do you guys know, or can we suggest how to find that angle there? Remember, guys, if you have a straight line and you have a line, if you know what this angle is, you can easily find that angle. This is where you say a 180 degrees is equals to this angle. Let's say angle 1 plus angle 2. I'm not sure if you guys remember this, where you say this one is the one that you know, being 104.04 plus angle 2, which is what you're trying to calculate. And then you still have 180 degrees there. So what will that angle 2 be, being that one? What will it be?
Say,
Yes.
where does 104 come from?
104 is this one, honorable member. You remember from the diagram, we were given this angle where they say it's 104.
Oh, it's because I can't see it because it's not clearly. Yeah, it's not clearly.
That color, okay. Maybe let me write it in black. So remember, guys, if for those of you who've got multiple devices, you send the question paper to the other device, and then you use the other one to see where I'll be writing. So it's 180 minus 104.04. This is what I'm getting. I'm not sure if you guys are getting the same, but I'm getting 75.96. Is this what you guys are getting for this angle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 100%. So now, can we possibly find that angle beta? I think we can. Can we not use this formula which says tan angle beta is equals to theta? Because we know equals to gradient. You remember this formula, Mos, which says tan angle is equals to gradient. Where angles are involved, always remember that formula. So how about we then say second function of a tan, what is it? What is the gradient of that line so that we can calculate that? The gradient is 4 over 3. I'm not sure if you guys remember. So that is why you're going to say a second function of tan that, which is equals to whatever value that you get, which is going to be the angle of beta. I'm not sure if I'm losing you guys, but I'm pretty much sure that if you understand what an angle of inclination is, then you know you can use that formula where you need the gradient of that line. Then you substitute it and then you find that angle. So where am I going with this? As soon as I find that angle, then I know the interior angles of a triangle are equals to 180 degrees. So I'm just going to say 180 degrees is equals to this angle plus that angle plus that angle. Then I just solve for theta. Then it's done. So what is angle beta? Let me see. Second function of 4 over 3. I'm getting 53.13 degrees. Is this what you guys are getting there?
Yes, sir.
So can someone then tell us what is angle theta? And this is not the only way of working it out. There are other ways in which you can work it out using those theorem or your understanding of Euclidean geometry. Then you can still find that answer. So that means you're going to say angle alpha plus this angle being 53.13 degrees plus this angle. Remember the interior angles of a triangle, 96. You equate it to 180. So that means you're going to say 180 minus this minus that, and that's how you get your angle theta. So what are you guys getting as your angle theta there?
50.91.
Is it everyone getting 50.91?
Yes, sir.
But does it make sense, guys, or did I lose you?
Makes sense, sir.
I think it's Leslie who said it makes sense. Lindiwe, does it make sense, honorable member?
Yes, sir.
Moleboge, are you happy with this one, honorable member, before I move on to the last question?
I'm happy.
100%. So now, very quickly, let's move on to the last question. But most importantly, make sure not to lose your calculations. So maybe let me write that to say that angle is, what did you guys say? Oh, 50 angle theta is equals to 50.91 degrees. Remember to write degrees, because if you write 50.91, we are not sure if you are giving us some random numbers there. So let me just remove all of that. So let's see. Also remove that, and then we now move on to 4.4, which says calculate the length of Wait. Okay, two things. Number one, it's load shedding. Number two, I forgot to give you guys where you get marks. Okay, so with you having done that part of saying that over that, it's equals to 4/3. Remember, you did this because you wanted to calculate that angle there. So this is where you give yourself a mark. And then the other mark, give it to yourself where you got that angle beta to be, what was it? 53,13. Give yourself a mark for that. And then the last mark, it comes from you finding the correct value of theta. So we won't give you a mark for calculating that angle, but you get a mark for calculating your theta. Makes sense. So just make sure to give yourself marks there. So very quickly, let's move on to the last question, which is 4.4. So just in case if I start breaking, please let me know immediately. But let me quickly finish off so that we know we have done corrections. And before I forget, let me just mention to you guys that today's code, you just say number one. You comment with what you guys have covered at school, but you give the name of the chapter. For example, one can say number one, number pattern, and then number two, functions. Number three, what is it? Maybe let's say finance. Number four, whatever. If you've already covered 1, 2, 3, then comment with those three. If it's 4, then 4. If whatever. But I hope you guys get what I'm trying to say there. So today's comment or code, you comment with what you guys have already covered at school. If you are currently on finance, also include finance, just so that we can have a look at that and plan our way forward based on what you guys have covered. But most importantly, remember, we don't follow or move at the pace that you guys are moving at school, because it's not possible to be on the same pace as everyone, since you are all over the country. So that is why we mainly focus on solving exam question papers, where we start a chapter, do an introduction, and then do past questions based on that specific chapter. So 4.4, calculate the length of NC. The length of NC. It's written like that, and they say NC. So remember, we are having a right angled hey, I'm already noticing something interesting, guys. Maybe let me create enough space for myself. This is what I'm actually noticing, that we have a 90-degree angle there, and we have an angle there being 50.91, and we already have these coordinates. That one is 6. We calculated this one, Musid, was that. What if we calculate that length from there to there? Then we use trigonometric ratio to calculate that length of NC. So it's more like I'm saying, let's try to find what is that length from there to there. So obviously you will find that using the distance formula, which says x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Let's see. What is x2? You can still use this. Yebo. Mm-hmm.
You are cutting on my side again, so
Let's
I
see.
can't hear
Lindiwe,
properly.
am I also cutting on your side?
No, sir.
Voiswa.
No, I can hear.
Matapelo, am I cutting on your side? No, V, try to leave and come back. Otherwise, if it does, remember, this lesson is being recorded and is going to be posted tomorrow. Then you can easily catch up. But sometimes you might find that it is breaking from your side. But if you are able to see what I'm doing there, then you just substitute and say x2, you can take it to be that 2 there, x1 to be that 6 there, and then you say y2, it is that -2 there, you minus y1 being -5, then you just calculate that distance. What are you guys getting there? Let's see if you guys can find that distance.
So,
2 man.
16 plus 2 units.
Let's see. Hey, I don't trust you guys. Hey, what did you guys say is the distance? What did you guys get? I had someone saying 1 million there.
5
5.
units.
Oh, yes. Yes, 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 yes. So can you see? We have from there to there being 5. So now, which trigonometric ratio can we use to determine NC? You can still remember this from grade 10. Which trigonometric ratio? We're going to use sine, tan, cos, or theorem of Pythagoras. What are we going to use? Matapelo, what did you say there, honorable member?
I'm going to use sine.
100%. 100%. Sine of an angle, let's say angle N, it's equals to, we know it's opposite over what? Hypotenuse. Yes. Opposite being what? Being FC. Hypotenuse being what? NC. So that means we are actually having sine of angle 50,91 equals to, what is FC? There is FC being your 5 over NC. So you can see you will cross multiply and then you will still divide by that. So it's more like when you cross multiply, you end up having your NC multiplying that. Then you divide by the whole of that. That's how you get your NC. It's more like you're saying 5 divided by sine 50,91. What are you getting as your NC?
44 units.
100%. Hey, Matapelo, are you not copying there? I don't trust you, honorable member. Wanama Major, are you sure you're not copying there?
I'm not.
Okay, so remember, this question was allocated 4 marks. But just to confirm, did you all get that answer? Is Matapelo correct on that one?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is where you get your marks. For correct substitution into the distance formula, we will give you a mark for that. And for you to correctly get the length of FC, you will get a mark for that. And also, for you to substitute correctly there, you will definitely get a mark there. And your last mark comes from you giving that as your correct final answer. So that's how you score yourself 12 out of 12. I'm not sure. Anyone who's got a question before I sign out, bantu bakithi. But I'm sure you guys noticed how you score yourself 12 marks for that question. It was a bit tricky, and I can tell you there was a question in grade 12's test which was more simpler than this. So if in grade 11 you are able to understand this type of questions, then it's encouraging that when you get to grade 12, you won't struggle that much. So these are some of the techniques that you need for you to answer many questions in grade 12. So I'm not sure. Ako, can you confirm, honorable member, if you are not lost there? Luyanda, are you okay? Mwana Shukwembo.
Yes, I'm not lost.
Yes, sir.
Bosisiwe, I'm not sure, honorable member. Nomvula, are you okay that side? Lindi the Malindiza.
I'm okay,
Lindiwe,
sir.
are you okay there?
Yes,
Mzozozo,
sir.
I'm not sure if Moleboge is satisfied with what we have done in today's
I'm
lesson.
okay, sir. I'm okay.
Hey, Mzozozo, it seems like it is that time, honorable member. I'm about to balega ngenyawo zobili. Angazi ukuthi uyangivumela Mzozozo noma cha.
Sir, good night. Baleka ngazo zombili.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for joining. My name is Desmond, and I'm out.